Welcome to Redefining Normal. This is your host, John.
And Alex, back again.
Season 2. Stay tuned. If you're not Muslim, you gotta pay taxes to me. But if you were Muslim and converted to Christianity, you gotta die.
Well, that's where they get the whole kill infidel.
Yeah, you cannot leave Islam. That's in the Quran. So if anybody leaves,
that if you leave Islam, you're supposed to be dead right
Yeah.
now, aren't you?
Technically, yeah, he was over there, yeah.
right? So,
yeah.
so what? Sorry,
But
I cannot.
Lo que
just
estás
thought
diciendo,
of
I think
that.
what stuck out to me, what you're saying is that over there, like with Islam, bro, like they're forcing it upon them. If
Yeah.
you don't believe, I'm gonna kill you. With Christianity, it's kind of like the opposite. You know what I mean? Like, you believe this, I'm gonna kill you because of your belief.
Look,
Like,
before Christianity even
That's
went
pretty
in arms,
crazy.
right? Before the Crusades, that was 600 years, right? Like Christianity got spread out of love. People turned to Christ. They were dying because Christ now wants to pick up a sword, right? And he grew, and they never stopped it, right?
They overthrew Rome.
Yeah.
Rome collapsed because of it.
Islam, 10 years, they pick arms. All right? They started conquer countries. ¿Qué tan más fácil as a human person? Pay taxes or just convert to Islam? Convert to Islam. So honestly, it did get spread by the sword.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And the only reason the crusade happened is because of the Muslims. If you look into the history, they were taking over everything until they finally say, hey, that's it, we gotta fight back.
Yeah, I don't know my history that much on the Crusades, but I have something about that too. That there was some territory that was being Muslims were going this way, we're going that way, something like that. But yeah, I think that's what I'm talking about. Like
Most of the Middle East was Christian before the Muslims took over.
I mean, even Northern Africa, that's
Yeah.
where we get the Church of Ethiopia and all that stuff.
They were Christian even before the white
Yeah,
people went
exactly,
over.
yeah,
Before someone tries to say that
Yeah.
it was colonized.
Yeah, it's a white man's
Yeah.
religion. It's like
Uh.
that's because we just
First of
made
all,
him
Jesus
white.
himself was not even white.
Yeah, he was Hebrew or
Yeah.
whatever, Arabic or whatever. Yeah, he was standing out in the sun.
Bro, what is crazy though?
Bronze.
It's like how people are willing to die out of like Islam, even though you look at the whole history that a lot of things that the Quran says would have been lost. You get what I'm saying? Like from all this war, and then not even that, the Quran don't make sense by itself. You need the Hadith, which those came years later after the Quran, and years later after Muhammad died. You see like the two brothers in the beginning, right? Cain and Abel. The Quran talks about it, but it doesn't mention their names. Adam and Eve, it doesn't mention Eve's name. Where are they getting this name from? From the Hadith. So if your book's supposed to be all perfect, why it leaves so many
If it was
blanks?
really divine
unanswered.
intervention, it should have been perfect.
Why it doesn't mention names? They miss because they were important. So
Maybe
why?
he wasn't able to read the names.
Why you get all facts. You know what? There's even a hadith where he says that Muhammad was possessed too.
I mean, just a fact because I would assume that maybe let's give credit where credit may be due. Maybe that encounter he had with that angel was a demon,
Yeah.
you know, and because I mean, like just much we believe in angels. I know for a fact I've seen demons in my life. I've seen them face to face, dark, like in the dark, feeling my body standing on edge while the room is warm, but I'm cold. And feeling, and so if I believe in that, like I definitely believe in angels. I definitely know that for a fact they can manifest themselves and mess with us.
Yeah.
And if they know that this guy has a lot, like how you said, a lot of authority, a lot of credibility, then we could change a lot of people's lives just to this one guy. I mean, to this day, it still is. You know?
And it's
And it's still growing, huh?
and it's
Yeah.
the number one religion in
It's
the
our
world.
number one growing
And
religion.
growing.
Well, what I hear, and then on top of that, from what I understand, is that Islam comes from the lineage of Ishmael, which was
Yeah.
a legitimate
Yeah.
son from Abraham
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
the son that came through the slave.
through Hagar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why in Islam, that's our argument. Well, was my argument
Mhm.
that he was the firstborn.
Yeah,
son.
he was the first one.
He
to
was the
actually-
chosen.
Yeah.
So that's where he split, right? So Islam comes from him.
Yeah.
That's what I used to.
Well, I don't know why they don't at least recognize that, like, if you just look at it from a historical perspective, the firstborn in Genesis never gets the blessing.
Yeah.
Esau didn't get, he sold his blessing. Cain
Didn't.
didn't. Like, it was showing a pattern that, like, yes, the way that God goes against the fundamentals of humanity.
But on then too, it was that Abraham, was it? Abraham just didn't wait for God. He said, "Let's do it our own way."
Oh yeah, he considered Sarah was thinking like, "Yo, I can't do it, but she can."
Damn, yeah.
And him being a man, he was like,
Say less. I'm just doing this for you.
Yeah, this is the Lord's will. But yeah, man.
No, yeah, that's where Islam.
We're talking about different books. Mormon. One day I was at Goodwill and I was looking through the books and I found the book of. I thought it was a New Testament Bible because they look. I think they do that. They make them look like a New Testament Bible, so you pick it up and then you find out, oh, this is the Book of Mormon. So I started reading it, and I remember I was in Goodwill reading like a couple chapters in it, and I was
like, "Sir, you gotta buy." Yeah,
and Barnes and
you
Noble,
thought you buy.
In Barnes and Noble, they would tell me in Barnes and Noble, "This is not a library. This is a bookstore."
I'm renting it.
I'm like, bro, you get paid $12. Go do something else, dude. But I was reading the Book of Mormon at Goodwill and laughing because I couldn't believe that, like, what I was reading, and then
the pot of gold was something.
Yeah, the golden tablets appeared. An angel appeared to Joseph Smith during the time of the 1800s, and like think about that. Okay, it's during the 1800s. There was slavery during this time. The Americas, this was so much Native Americans were still in the area. Like there was so much, and then the scrolls that he says that he translated to then create the Book of Mormon. Now that we have the actual knowledge to translate those scrolls he found, they don't even translate it to what the Book of Mormon says.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then the scrolls apparently, and I hope somebody corrects me if I'm wrong, but the scrolls that he was reading were in Egyptian hieroglyphs. At the time, we didn't have the Rosetta Stone that gave us the ability to even understand Egyptian hieroglyphs.
Yeah, but the angel did.
Yeah, but the angel or whatever. You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy? What's crazy about those prophets, right? That you never saw Moses, you never saw John, you never saw Abraham. Again, no, you kind of decide, but not really. Or you know what I'm saying? Like as soon as they become messengers of God, like Muhammad and Joseph, they wanted like 12, 13 wives for themselves.
Yeah, or
you know what I'm saying?
Poly, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and then for guys, they're like, oh, that sounds better than just one wife. You know what I mean?
And here's another thing too, like getting back to why I felt comfortable just throwing my faith out there, because it's something that is truly true. It will remain true throughout time and in any context. Mormonisms, when they first started religion, you could have more than one wife. Now it's not, and then it changed. Well, it changed, then went back, and then it changed, and went back, and then now we're. So it just shows that, like, okay, what you have is not the foundation.
It's not conquering.
It's not conquering. Like,
if you could switch it like that, I mean,
then no. Yeah, yeah, that's how I see it.
That does blow my mind.
Yeah, and another thing too.
Oh, because I'm one of them. Then
there's another thing I've always. I mean, not to hark down and seem like, oh, we're Christians and we know everything, but no, it's just we're humans, and skepticism gets in the wrong way. That's what I think. But I always think about like during the time we just got a new pope. I just kind of always wondered. If you truly are the successor of Jesus Christ and the apostles and blah, 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 all that stuff, I would think that there would be like some type of divine physical intervention to you. And I can't help but notice that like all these popes are always old and look like they're dying. I would think that like if you are truly God or have some type of real access to him, the Bible says that Moses, they had to shield his face because you know what I mean?
Because every time he'll talk to God,
exactly. So, like, if you're claiming all these things, like, wouldn't there be some type of evidence of that? You know what I mean? Or like, here's another thing: if we feel when the Holy Spirit walks into the room, we can feel it. Shouldn't you be causing the same effect?
You know,
Like, you know what I mean?
I ain't gonna lie. Like,
I don't know.
The Catholics and Muslims remind me of Charlie a lot.
Of what?
They remind me they relate to one another. Because I used to argue with these guys. I was like, I'm more Christian than you guys. I pray 5 times a day. Look the way I dress. And then as I was like getting closer to God, he'll put like things in my head, right? I mean, I know the Bible, but I don't really read it like that back then. And I remember one time I was like thinking, like I was like reminiscing of like the way I used to dress as a Muslim and all that. And then I remember these words in my head: "Don't be a hypocrite." You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you dress a sort of way doesn't make you better than anybody. And Jesus used to tell those to the first, like, you guys are hypocrites.
So how would you dress? Like, was there always like a certain outfit that you had?
Well, like when I go to the malls, I put like I forgot what you call it, but I'll have my
it's like a whole garment.
yeah,
isn't it?
whole
Something like
garden,
that.
and then my little cat. You know what I'm saying? Looking fly.
Yeah.
And then I had like another one. Like I had a bunch of clothes, bro. And I like, look, I look more than Jesus than you. This is how Jesus used
Would
to look.
actually have dressed.
And this is how he prayed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we always go back to the time when he was about to get crucified, when he prayed in his hands down. And we always say,
Oh yeah, wait, yeah, in the garden. Yeah,
but we always don't add the part when he says Appa, Father, because we don't call,
You don't call him Father.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, we just say, look, he prayed his people. We don't. Let's not continue reading. Let's stop there.
I know. Yeah, talking about nitpicking. Yeah,
Picking and choosing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to let's turn it on Christianity. It is criticize us. I wish that we kind of had some of that, though. Or Muslims care too much about how much they dress. I feel like Christians don't care enough.
You see the main problem, and this is why other beliefs don't respect Christianity, and this is coming out of my own opinion, is because a lot of people have it confused, right? God is the most merciful, right? He will forgive you sin. But the way some of them carry themselves as they just one Sunday they go to church and the whole week they live their life however they want. You know what I'm saying?
There's a great saying that God loves you enough to take you as you are, but He loves you too much to leave you how you are.
Yeah.
So
in the end, like a lot of people don't understand how that works, right? So because I remember, well, there's a part where Jesus says if you take the Holy Ghost as a joke, or that's the only thing He won't forgive.
yeah, blasphemy.
Yeah. And I feel that that's when, like, personal again, I could be wrong. I'm not perfect. Only on
No way.
Tuesday. If it was Tuesday, probably on point. But like a lot of times the Holy Spirit talks to us, right? Like not a lot, most of the time. That little thing telling us don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do it. And yet you don't listen and do it. I feel like that's making a mockery of the Holy Ghost. You ask for it and yet you don't accept it. And a lot of times I think that this is what we Christians have confused it. It don't mean that if honestly I really, and this is 100%, you cannot go at Jesus. If you're gonna go in, you gotta go in all the way. Give him everything. You know what I'm saying? You cannot just give him 10% there, 15% here. If you don't live your whole weekend with Christ on you, like, and just do your life and thinking you're safe just by going on Sunday, I don't think that's the correct. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of new generation look at Islam and look the way they carry
Look
themselves.
at the fruit that they're
Look the way they all pray. Look, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, even the brothers learn Aramaic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look how tight they are. I'm telling you, these brothers, bro. Like, if you needed money, they all get together and here,
No commissions.
and they won't even ask you to get paid back. You need a car? Oh, we'll help you. Because in Islam we cannot get loans, right? That's haram. You know, you cannot get a loan.
You can be in debt to anybody,
Yeah.
right?
So the brothers will help you with everything they can. You see, and that's one thing that we are tight, but we are not as tight as the Muslims. Because the Muslims, even when I got locked up, because when I got locked up, I was already a Muslim. I'm just trying to put that out there because I didn't turn Muslim in prison. I was a Muslim before prison, right? The law from the brothers, even in prison,
That's great.
it was great, bro.
I bet you. Well, I bet that's the thing. Like, like I wish Christianity would pick up those things. Like for example, back to the dressing thing. I feel like you got a lot of other churches, like my old church, you walked in with jeans, it was a problem, which I think that's wrong. You shouldn't condemn people for it. But I feel like at the end of the day, every Sunday we come to present ourselves to God. We should look presentable, especially like when I serve. Like today, I wear this shirt and I try to match it with my shoes. So things like that. You know what I mean? I just try, even because I'm in kids ministry.
Presentable when we were saying that, like that was back then in churches that I would go to as well. The pastor would once talk to me, came to me and was like, "Hey, like the way you're dressing like you're from the world, right?" Because I was dressing, I guess, with like baggy pants and the baggy shirt and the Jordans or whatever, right? And he was like, "Hey, you're dressing like the world. Like you gotta come presentable. You gotta make sure that you're dressed in a certain way." And the way that he was dressing is with a tie, right? The suit. And at that point, I was kind of like, well, what is presentable? You know what I mean? Because to me, like this right here is my best attire.
I would think that's,
you know what I mean? Like to me, like this is my best attire. Like this is to me. I put work on it. You know what I mean? And I'm coming to present myself. In your case, you're saying that I look like a thug or I don't know, like someone from the streets, but not from church. But when I see you, I could see you as a mobster. You know what I mean? Because you're wearing your suits, the suits, right? Like what is presentable? You know what I mean? As I think if whatever God puts in you, and you feel that is good, you know what I mean? Like he'll work with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's a big part in the Christianity part. Like you're saying, like sometimes when you walk in, they'll look at you kind of like, this guy.
Yeah,
you know
they judge you before you enter.
Yeah, they're judging you before you enter, which is back to our point where like we kind of want to stay away from that a little bit. Let God do His work.
Let God come with them.
Yeah.
Because even if they're dressed a little skanky, sometimes
sometimes that
I mean,
it does happen.
Yeah.
You see, and sorry, I lost my focus there, but like in Islam, the boys and the girls get separated all the time.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Nah, but like that, a lot of time people lose faith on Christ, not because of Christ himself, but because of the human.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But start like my main thing is stop putting your trust on men. Put your trust on God, on Christ alone.
And the men that was there any Christian men when you were in jail that would pursue you in any way?
Nah, I used to go to the church and just make fun of everybody when we were there.
In the church, like in jail,
just to get out of the
just to get out of
cell.
the cell?
Yeah, we'll go and then like we would just watch everybody like, oh, stop it, Allah. Stop it, Allah.
And if you don't mind me asking, or it being on record, but what you going for? Or if you just want to give the legal
Nah, I went for drugs.
Just drugs?
Yeah.
And how long?
Just like a year and
A year?
and a few months.
Dang.
Yeah.
And was it hardcore or is it just weed or what? If you don't mind. Hard substances or what? Yeah. Yeah. Like, what's hard for you, bro? No, but just. But you know the reason I asked.
Nah, it was just a Kia Coke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the reason I asked is I wondered, like, because your sentence was like how bad the penitentiary would be or whatever.
Well, no, actually, they were trying to give me 15 to life.
For a key?
Yeah.
A kilo? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know. I've seen it. Bump.
No.
I was like, they caught you just a bump, bro.
But you see the way everything happened. I mean, people could go look at my paperwork.
See,
I'm good. I'm clean. I'd rather die before dishonoring.
in Jesus, make you clean.
Nah, but the way everything happened, there was nothing they had to do with me. So they just had me wrong place, wrong time. You know what I mean? But the guys in prison told me that I kind of messed up because they really didn't have no evidence against me other than the fact that I was there. And because they offered me 2 years, they were like, sign this 2 years or 5 15 to life. So I was like, shoot me those 2 years.
Yeah, I just took 2
I mean, because either way, I was guilty, but like, if I knew I was 100% innocent, I would have fight it, but I was guilty. So I was like, might as well sign those 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, why fight something that they offered me 2 years and then I lose and then end up serving 15?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, nah, shoot me those 15. I'm good with that. I mean, those 2. Sorry, I take it.
No, 15.
They get them back.
Yeah. And you see, like, Even it's crazy. Oh my god, bro, it's crazy because I was in when I went to the annex, right? Like I really thought my bully was my bully, right? Because even when I was in prison, they switched me to a different cell within the annex, and I asked Allah to put me with another Muslim, and I ended up roommates with the Muslim.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was like an affirmation too.
And then I flew, and they transferred me to Sanchez unit. They locked me up in sec. I did like 3 or 4 months in sec, and like by myself, like in segregation, like prison within prison. And I read the Quran, like my knowledge grew. And then it was Ramadan. I had to fight with the guards because they wouldn't tell me that no, you're not Muslim, and I was like, I am. So I stayed with the eating, like you know what I mean. And then I was like,
so they were trying to give you food, and you're like, no.
no. And then plus they wouldn't feed me what they were supposed, like after hours, you know what I mean. So I didn't eat like for like 2 days, and then I was praying to Allah, you know what I'm saying. And then when I hear a brother, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, you know, in the morning,
Mhm.
I was like, oh, I was like, Allahu Akbar, you know, like, God, you're good, you know what I'm saying? And then I was like, oh, what's up, brother? And they're like, hey, where you from? Like, you from Middle East? I was like, nah, I'm Mexican. I was like, damn, brother, you from Middle East?
I get the same thing, man.
I was like, nah. You know, so the brothers were feeding me, bro. I was eating, bro. And then I asked God, hey, get me out of this thing. I finally got released. I was in population, bro. Like, me being a Muslim from the free world, I was like the greatest Muslim there. Because they didn't know what I knew. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have the connections that I had within the Muslim community. I'm telling you, I had a little shout out to Sharky Boy. He was a Muslim. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
There you go.
And then
Jesus.
that brother, bro, I'm telling you, like that brother would have me my coffee ready in the morning. Food, he'll cook for me, clean. Like, bro, like I was cheap in prison, bro.
Dang, man.
I was cheap, and then I got out and my wife like, you cook for yourself.
Like, you cook for me.
Nah, like being Muslim within prison, bro. Like, oh man, I got out being stronger Muslim. You feel me? Like, I was on top of the world, bro.
I bet.
I got out. I went with the brothers. And like, oh, bro, assalamu alaikum. You know what I'm saying?
So it was a whole year you were in there.
Yeah.
So it was a year on like for good behavior because you took 2 initially.
Yeah, and I did the rest in parole.
But see, that's awesome to hear because your belief and your religion in Muslim was high at a high point. So it's not like if you were already kind of doubting it or like you were kind of low on it.
I've been Muslim since I took my shahadas in 2011, bro. So I've been Muslim like most of my life. You feel me? I was not this committed as I was this past from 2022 to 2023.
So he found you in the height of your
Islam, bro. Like I was in my best, bro. I was on top of the world. Usually people find Christ on their low.
Yeah.
I was up here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what blazed. Like I was not questioning Islam, bro. I was like, I'm gonna die for my brothers. You feel me? And I will not catch you here talking bad about Muhammad or anybody because we're fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Did you ever?
I fought I called Juan Moreno because he said I'm gonna say because we were talking about Islam. Oh, you should know about that Muslim shit. And I was like, oh hell no, bro. You better put some respect on Islam, bro. There's no Muslim shit here. You know what I mean? If you talk about anybody else, you don't talk about Islam like that. Oh no. Yeah, bro. We won't have that, bro.
Yeah.
You don't disrespect Islam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I did. I mean,
even now that I'm over here and I hear someone say something, I'm like, oh, you know, like,
better watch out.
Fuck it, Joe. Fuck it. You know? I'm like, top here.
You're like, I don't even believe in him, but I feel like fighting right now. So much, dude.
Yeah, so I believe actually it's way harder to follow Christ, bro. You need to be more patient to people. You know what I'm saying? Because I like blowing up real quick. You feel me? And now that I'm trying to walk Christ's way, it's like, oh man, bro, I wish you would have talked to me when I was a Muslim, bro. I would have beat the brakes of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I bet, dude. Yeah. I feel like a lot of times Muslims they do give like a more good portrayal of life. It's unfortunate. I mean, Catholics too. I hear a lot of people say like, "Oh, I know people that are Catholic, but they're more Christian than Christians are." And I'm like,
And I think it goes back to like the
Yeah.
devotion. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
how
exactly.
devoted they are into what they do. Like imagine us putting that devotion in as well. You know what I mean? Because I think when it comes to like Catholics, like all the different denominations as well that we were talking about earlier, there's a lot of denominations when it comes to Christianity, right? To me, I think that's one of our downfalls as well as true followers of
We
Jesus
separated
Christ.
too much.
Yes, we're separated too much.
too much division.
Yeah, too much division within it. Like you got the Pentecostals, right? And then you got the
Evangelical.
yeah, like so small, little small disagreements
Yeah.
that separates all of us. Why can't we just get together and have a relationship with Jesus Christ and focus on that? Focus on your relationship with Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? What He puts in your heart, and I think that's a big thing for me with this whole when we started this that God put in me like, hey, it's a relationship, bro, and that's where I feel like, hey, I lost my religion, bro, because I was I'm Christian. You know what I mean? I grew up Christian, like I said, with my mom and my grandma. We went to church all the time, but I found the relationship with Jesus Christ that I never really had previously. To the point where now,
Was that a fault to your parents or?
I feel that it's just in a way, it's like it became what is it, like just something that you do every Sunday,
A tradition.
a tradition.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
mean?
Oh, just be ¿Cuánto va?
Oh, it's an hour, but I'm just checking it's still recording because imagine
All this time.
it became a tradition.
It just became a tradition. You know what I mean?
And then that's what happens with
that's what
Christianity
happens.
too, though, bro. Because when it's Sunday, it's not like, oh, it's Sunday, let's go to, it's Sunday, I gotta go to church. You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't go to church, like all everything that I've done, it won't be forgiven.
Yep. And then that's where we come into play. You'll be coming into play. I mean, later on, hopefully, right? God willing,
Right.
when you have your kids.
Oh yeah,
You start building that. You start building that
I was about
foundation.
to say, inshallah. If
But
God
that-
will.
But that's what it is. We are to build that foundation. We are to redefine what normal is.
Yeah.
Not only to our family, but to whoever's around us as well. You know what I mean? Like before, it was like, hey, we need to go and party. Oh, we're going to a party. We're gonna get together. Hey, we need beer.
Mhm.
We need beer so we could have a good time, bro.
Even
says that?
even then when they say they were
See.
even when they say they were Christian, I was Muslim. Like, you see, bro, you guys are drinking, like you don't even follow your own beliefs.
So to you, Christians don't drink at all either.
Yeah.
So like to you, and now or then too, like you thought Christians shouldn't drink at all.
I believe, well, in that time was for alcohol in general was haram. No alcohol at all, like at all. Even though the Bible says that it's not like you could drink, but it's not a sin until you get intoxicated. But it does say like if it's gonna cause you to sin, don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Because in the end, I mean, nobody knows their limits. I know for sure if I drink one beer, I'm gonna be intoxicated. Like, I can't handle alcohol. So a lot of times, like, because you see that opens the window. Because going back to what your kids, all right. So if I'm drinking right now, right, like I'm drinking a beer as we talking about Christ.
Yeah.
Like honestly,
lot of people-
how does it look?
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, it's okay to drink. Like Ryan Garcia, they talk so much about Christ, but yet he cusses, he drinks
Does
in front
all
of the
this
camera.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that's not like if one person does it, it puts the whole Christian. It don't matter the domination or whatever you think. It's all of you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all look bad.
That are you representing Christ Himself, and what would you?
So
wanna
that's
do
one
that
thing.
to?
One thing we gotta put in our mind. Then once we follow the way that is Christ, we don't just not follow it on Sunday. We follow Him every day. Everything we are the representative of what we believe.
Mhm.
And it only takes one person to ruin the reputation for all of us. You feel me? So that's why it's important to, in between all the brothers, right, to put us in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like in hey, brother, what's up? You know what I'm
Hold
saying?
ourselves accountable for
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I tell myself, and other Christians that like, yeah, it's not wrong to have a beer, but if it bothers you that you can't have a beer, then that's probably an issue.
Yeah. That's
That's
an issue.
probably an issue because I was telling him before we started rolling, I like to go out and have a drink before we eat. Like in my meal, like the etiquette of when you eat, you have a glass of wine before your steak, and by the time you're done eating, you don't even fill the glass of wine no more.
Yeah.
But the reason I would do it is because I think about how do I know that there's somebody that knows me that I don't in this moment recognize them, and they know I go to church, they know my beliefs, and then all of that gets disqualified because I had a drink, and then they never consider Christianity or anything because they just disqualify me.
And there's one of the main problems within Christianity that we judge everybody.
Unfortunately,
You know,
unfortunately,
and in the end,
unfortunately,
Yeah, what's crazy is that I think with Christianity, Christianity judges a lot,
yeah,
but a lot of people outside of the world judges Christians as well a lot. So I think it's like a back and forth kind of thing there. And for me, going back to the relationship part of it, like it's a work in progress for each and every one of us.
Yeah, we
So,
all
like,
got our battles.
We all have our own battles. So to where maybe you're in a different phase of a relationship with Jesus at the time, like I might be in a different phase with him. You know what I mean? When I first started with this relationship with Christ, I was that party person that was drinking. Like he was saying, yeah, I had my Christian beliefs. Yeah, I considered myself Christian at the time, but I was still going out and partying, and I was drinking, and I was, hey, shots, or whatever. Right now, to the point where I don't even crave that, or I don't have that feeling of like, oh, I want to do that. Like it's already gone. You know what I mean? At that moment, I would have thought that, hey, that this is going to be difficult for me. It's going to be hard for me to leave that lifestyle or whatever. But as I grow in my relationship with Christ, like that becomes easier. Like that now at the point, I'm like, hey, like last time my wife was like, hey, how long has it been that we haven't drank? I was like, who knows? Like it's been a good minute. You know what I mean? A good while. Like that we haven't even considered it or anything. You know what I mean? To the point where like not even one drink or anything like that. So that's to me is a win, and it's based on your relationship with.
And it's crazy
with Christ
once you're
overall.
doing that walk, there's a lot of separations of other people.
naturally happens.
Yeah, and that's people that God really didn't want in your life.
I mean, to get it back to how we are all judging each other, I hope if I'm wrong, somebody correct me. I don't think
You're
it's
wrong.
wrong.
I think
I know, right? But my thing, the real difference is that the world criticizes and we judge, and I feel like there's a big difference. For example, if you have a preference over anything, you made a judgment. If you truly love your wife, it's because to your judgment, she is worth your time and your love more than any other women you could have chose amongst. And that's not to criticize those other women and say that all other women besides your wife are pieces of whatever. It's no. You know what I mean? And I feel like kind of the same thing could be applied to, like, if a brother sees me drinking out in public, instead of criticizing me like, oh, look at this guy, he's having a drink, he's like, well, you know what? It's not the best, but I see why he's doing that. Or something like that. You know what I mean? You know, like, to still, why, or even if you're not a believer, to be like, oh, he's just enjoying a drink, not, oh, I'm throw out Christianity and everything because I saw this one Christian having a drink. It's like,
So it's crazy how this world is. That's how it works, though.
Because I do, but in my opinion, as a Christian, I do agree with you, worldly person. Yeah, he probably shouldn't be having a drink. Out right now. You know what I mean?
You know, there's something in the Bible that does say like, don't do anything next to your brother who's gonna cause
your brother to sin.
exactly,
Yep.
yeah.
Is that what you were gonna say?
Yeah.
No, I was actually gonna say that. Ya hasta se me olvidó, pero ni sé qué iba a decir. ¿no?
So I mean, there is that.
Yeah,
thing.
but it's about. No, I think I said it earlier too. So about the Bible, it's talking about Paul in the context of like eating food that had been given to sacrifice to other gods.
Yeah.
If you participate in eating that food, you're participating in the worship of that other god. Not that it's wrong for you to eat that food, but it's wrong for you to eat this in the midst of these people because you're doing one thing but saying another thing in your actions.
And it's going back to Ramadan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so everything aligns back to
Rethinking normal, right? Redefining normal, right? Yeah, man. Sure.
Yeah, because right now everything that's normal is what is. Everything that's normal is against what the Bible says.
Mm-hmm.
That's what is normal now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially I mean, like in the time, what is it, 2025? in the same vein of drinking, I think our sexuality is the same thing. Like a lot of people tell me, "Oh, you think you're oh, so you're a Christian? You don't like gay people?" No, I love gay people. I just don't like gay things. I don't like gay things.
Oh.
I don't like alcohol. I don't like alcoholics, but I like the person.
Yeah.
Because like whenever homosexuality is condemned in the Bible, it's condemned right next to drunkenness.
Yeah.
And it's not. I tell guys, I mean, if you do your research anatomy, we have a spot that would, I don't know, it's not in the most pleasing place for men, would like to confess. For us, for men. And so people would say it's gay to even entertain that. And I'm like, why would it be gay if you have that desire?
I mean,
with you?
technically, gay means happy.
Exactly, or whatever. Or why would it be homosexual to have these desires? I'm like, I don't think it's homosexual. I just think you have to find the right person. It's always within the right context.
On that, it's crazy how they took the rainbow, though. And
Yeah.
Something that God promised after the storm, the rainbow will appear.
I heard something, a great perspective about that. That it was the bow, because the word, it doesn't say rainbow. It says that God's bow was put in the sky, and the bow is like a bow and arrow. And it was something about that before the flood, the punishment for death, the arrow, was pointed at humanity, and that's why humanity would suffer the consequences. That's why the flood happened. But after the flood, God said He would no longer ever flood the world again. So now the bow was no longer down. It's now facing God, and now the punishment now goes to God, and that's what led to it was like the significance of now to foretelling Jesus was going to come.
Others, I don't know.
That now the arrow is now the punishment is not going to be humanity. Now the punishment is going to be put on God, and this is the promise of what's to come. And that's something I heard recently, and I was like, that's one way to see it. Like that's pretty crazy, yeah. And then to see how that has been twisted, and not even twisted, but like they add to it. Like there's like a couple colors after purple now. It's like light blue, and then black, and then brown, and then white. I don't even know. Like, it's all
different colors.
Yeah, it's all this stuff.
I just know it's colorful.
Yeah, it's all this stuff. Nah, I just tell people like the same thing. Like I don't entertain. I think it's okay to drink. I don't think it's okay to be alcoholic. I think it's okay to have those desires, but to not identify with them.
They fight them.
Exactly.
Don't
fight them. Surrender them. Because I think people fight them, and then that's where they fall.
Actually, you know what? One thing that I have been following a lot, that it says if some first sight, right? Porn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if I'm by myself in the house, I don't know where like the enemy attacks me with lust, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh man, I need to, you know what I'm saying? I need to release. And then, so now what I learn is run away from it.
Yeah.
Like, well, you can't fight it. Like, that's not your will. Let God handle His thing, and just.
Well, you can't fight against something that's not from you. Like, for example, you know for a fact that it was the devil because it wasn't you.
Yeah.
So why are you gonna fight something supernatural with natural ways?
Yeah, so
it's just not gonna work.
The best thing I do is just get out of the house and go somewhere.
Exactly. That or I mean, what I've been having to do, like when the devil tempts me or something like that, I intentionally get on my knees. If this sin is gonna make me go behind closed doors, intentionally make time to be quiet or whatever the hell, I could be intention to do the very opposite and to practice Islam, put my face on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it has to take as much as intention. Because
the
answer.
The enemy is crazy, because if you used to drink, there's times that you could just be chilling, and all of a sudden you get the taste of that or whatever you used to do in your mouth.
Addiction, yeah.
And you start like boom, flashback.
And it's just a thought. Yeah.
And it could be just random, bro. You just minding your own, like you just driving and boom.
I'll pull over, get a whatever. I'm just gonna text
Yeah,
bro.
And that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And then it's like the last episode that I was saying, once you start justifying, like I it's the same way I was doing but the same thing with like, because I used to like say, now if I masturbate to porn, right, as long as I don't cheat on my wife, I'm doing good. So I'm justified in one sin. So at this point, whatever I continue to justify, just for me not to sin, but even though it's still bad in God's eye, You know what I'm saying? When is gonna be the limit?
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
that calls back to I always love this Genesis, how we fell. We fell because we ate the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. And what I would say before I was Christian is like, so what? God doesn't want us to know what's good and evil? No, it's like God doesn't want you to have the knowledge to determine what's good and evil. Just the second that you start justifying anything, you're the one deciding what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. You can know what's right and wrong, but you don't determine what's right and wrong. And that's the big thing of like, that's why Lucifer, the serpent, tempted her, because that's what Lucifer wanted to do. He wanted to be the one that he was wanted to be the one that right-handed God. He was the one that wanted to be the best. And then now he tries to convince us every day that we can be the one to say.
Now, even like whatever you're fighting, right? He's like, come on, bro, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Oh, just switch the scales, or just mitigate, compensate here to mitigate this.
Because you're gonna go to church next Sunday, bro. You should be good.
Yeah.
Go to the altar.
Yeah. Or no. Or even if no one finds out, did it really happen? If the tree fell in the forest and nobody was there to hear it, did it make a sound? Probably not. Like,
That's for forgiveness.
Yeah. It's like, no, bro. Well, I from men's camp that we went to, the biggest thing that I walked away from there was like, would you still obey God if there was no blessing or?
Oh yeah, that was good. There was no consequence.
Yeah, there was no blessing or consequence. Would you still obey Him?
That's true.
And that
you know what? I have forgotten about that, and then
That's a good one.
that's going back to the beginning. We started talking that we say that like Esau, we're doing it because there's a punishment.
Yeah.
A lot of people follow Christ because they know there's a punishment, but if there was not a punishment,
Would you still do it?
yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
I also heard another thing about what's one thing that a Christian could do that an atheist can't. Because that's when you're like, oh, atheists always say, oh, well, I don't need God. I can feed this needy. I can live a good life. I can have good morals, whatever. What's the one thing they can do that a Christian can? You have to guess. No, nothing. They cannot love God.
No. Yeah.
Because atheists or other religions, they can believe in gods, but they don't love their God. They're just obeying or whatever, but they don't necessarily truly say that they love God. That's why I love how Jesus said, like, in order to follow me, you have to not betray, but you have to hate your family. You can't. The amount of love that you have for me cannot be in comparison to what you have on earth.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is a standard that goes so it stands out amongst anything else.
That's why your heart, it goes back to your heart. Your heart has to only belong to Him, and that's it. Because I mean, going back to Adam and Eve, I mean, Adam, these people actually witnessed God, saw God, and Adam, I guess his heart kind of went to Eve now. So she told him eat the apple, and he's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I hope somebody correct me wrong. I love to learn, but from what you said, Eve.
Yeah.
From what I understand, that before she had even sinned, she didn't have Eve yet. He hadn't named her Eve. He had just called her woman by that point. So like,
the actual name of Eve is
Ezer, right?
Well, Eve in Hebrew was the mother of creation.
Mother of creation, yes.
Yeah.
But my point is that because God told Adam to name every animal and to have dominion in the garden, right? And if you name something, you give its definition, you define it by what it is and whatever. And I can't remember where I got this from, but when she sinned, she was still a woman. And then if we could bust it out with Genesis after the sin, after they eaten fruit, then He calls her Eve, and it's just showing that like God told him not to eat the knowledge of good and evil. She wasn't created yet, and He didn't do His due diligence to tell her not to. He didn't even do His due diligence to even name her when He was naming all the animals. So who dropped the ball? The girl or did the guy?
It was the guy. Because he still, at the end of the day, listened to her.
No
matter what, bro.
Even if he had named her, he still was the one that did this.
He was still
That's even worse.
Dude.
Yeah, because I mean, she knew about not eating whatever she ate, but this guy actually heard her from the Creator
himself.
So his love shifted. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, let's say his heart was still at 100 with God, he would have never
even entertained it.
Depart from me, woman.
Yeah, depart from me, Satan. Like Jesus told Peter. I use that a lot when my wife starts giving me negative. Depart from me, Satan. I'm in a good place right now.
Yeah, man.
Nah, but yeah, because it goes back to, let's reverse it, because the snake never talked to Adam, or the serpent only talked to Eve. You see, the women are the problem. Nah, just kidding. Oh, this is my Muslim coming out. Nah, bro, you see, like the snake never talked to Adam. He only talked to Eve, and he talked to Adam. Hey, eat it.
Yeah, man.
So
I mean, I think. Well, I was gonna ask you, you being Islam, did you have an opinion about Andrew Tate? Because Andrew Tate was like is big in the media at the time. Islam he still this day promotes Islam. Or do you not know about Andrew
I know who he is.
Tate? Yeah.
I mean, any brother that converts to Islam is a brother. We love him.
You know.
You know what I'm saying? Because you had all. I mean, how many followers that guy doesn't have?
I don't know, man. I mean, he literally he was the number one Google search at the time or something like that.
All right, so now we had that, and the reason he did it because he saw the devotion the Muslim had.
Yeah.
And it was just the fact that it's the
devotion. Well, and also because of the way, in his own words, that they defend what they believe in. You could, how you were saying that, you couldn't even say that Muhammad shit or whatever without getting. And Christians over here, we just get walked over all the time.
Yeah, because even with, if I say Muhammad, I need to say Muhammad Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, or Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon you.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I mention his name, I gotta say Muhammad, peace and blessings.
Yeah.
Even after we pray, I mean. After we're done praying, on the final where we're knees, we gotta say, may peace and blessings become to Muhammad and all his family, may peace and blessings become to you know what I mean?
Cheers, yeah. Well, the reason I brought up Andrew Tate is because I was trying to one thing I do like about his philosophy, not about him, is about and it could be toxic a bit, but how men in life, it's kind of our fault.
Yeah.
Gotta take accountability.
Yeah.
Yep.
It kind of is our fault. Everything is our fault. This happened. Well, what did you not do that could have prevented that?
I mean,
we can make all these arguments for the snake went to Eve. Eve couldn't. It's no, but Adam.
His main thing was that men are no longer men. They're kind of feminized.
Yeah.
And woke.
Yeah.
And I think that is a big problem. Even though I have daughters, there's some part that men play that men supposed to be playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And this world wants. Honestly, you think about it, everything that is in the Bible, the world
it goes against
reverse.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of understand why, because unfortunately, there has been a lot of men that. Look at history. I mean, it's just violence and bloodshed at the end of the day. Unfortunately.
And that's because of the main sin. Being prideful, greedy.
Yeah, and you thinking that you know what's right or wrong. So that's why it's okay to go to war with that country, because I think that those people are just...
Because a lot of people keep thinking, that that's the beginning of sin, right? Adam and Eve. But we always forget that Satan was the first one to sin.
Yeah, he fell before... Jesus said himself, I saw you fall.
And he became what? Prideful? Yeah. He wanted power, jealousy. And most of this war, what happens is because of pride, jealousy, power. That's
it's the same thing.
The chaos. I don't even want to get to my other dream that I had.
You had a dream?
Yeah.